What's up, guys? How's it going? So I'm gonna talk to you guys about something that was a real big deal when I was driving on the road. When you're driving down the road, especially in a turbo model, the radiator being up front, it makes the floorboards unbearable, especially if it's like above 90 degrees. It's hot. My feet scorching down there. So I came up with a little bit of a solution to my problem. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, it's like a cold air induction, right? And I've seen other companies come up with this idea and stuff, and I think they've came up with like a big like scoop design right here, big air scoop thing. That's not what I'm looking for here. So I want something that's going to come in through the firewall and actually just kind of dump down right down there towards my feet. You know what I'm saying? I don't think this is going to be very difficult. The problem I was having is, where do I put it in the front of the machine? So I had tried to come up with a solution to put them on these little panels. You know, if you screw up this panel, you only have to replace this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this old shop vac head here. So I'm actually going to cut this little shroud, and I'm going to mount this in here like so. And this is going to be plumbed to a flex tube, which is then going to run over the coolant bottle. And it's going to be plumbed right up into this piece of plastic right here, and that's where it's going to come through the firewall, and it's going to dump down to my feet. This being like the hood scoop for the hood, I think this is going to be a good idea. It'll allow it to capture a lot of air, and then it'll force feed it right down the tube and into the cab. If I don't like it, this little piece is small to replace, so I'm willing to risk its life for science. So stay tuned. See if we can make something happen. All right, so I had a couple different hoses to choose from. I opted to use the old hose that I actually had on my shop vac right there, and then I replaced it with the new hose, because apparently the new hose, the replacement hose, was a little bit smaller. So I opted to go with the bigger hose, more airflow. I trimmed it down. Still a little glue inside of there. Just gonna plumb it in there. This piece is going to go up to the firewall right underneath there. This will be on the opposite side, on the inside, on the firewall, blowing out towards my feet wherever I turn it. All right, guys, so it's the next day. I'm obviously wearing different clothes. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna take and we're gonna make these two pieces one piece. First things first, I'm gonna go ahead and just take these two bolts out and take this plastic piece out of here. It's gonna be a lot easier because I have to do a little bit of cutting and I gotta do a little bit of trimming on this. And then I'm gonna show you guys a pretty neat little method for stitching plastic together. Here we go. All right, so I already went ahead and snipped off these two little clips here. They're hooked up to this little coolant overflow and this wire loom. Could probably zip tie them together or something. We got this piece off. Let's figure out how we're gonna cut it. I really like how good those lines look, so I'm gonna try and stay inside the white line. Remember that when you guys are making cuts like this, a lot of people don't think about it. They're like, I'm just gonna go all the way, blow all the way through the line. Here's a little trick. If you want stuff to fit a lot better, go inside the line first. Cut inside the line, leave the line there. It'll make everything fit a little bit tighter. All right, so give me a second, guys. I'm gonna get to cutting on this thing and I'll show you what I come up with. like to think I do a pretty damn good job most of the time. I went all the way across this thing, didn't break through, and then wandered off right here at the end. What the hell is wrong with me? Anyways, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna pull this off and see how it fits. Best to show y'all how I'm doing this here. So, pretend this is brand new string, right? And basically you just did one loop from underneath, right? You want to be consistent. Pick side you want to go and then keep doing it that way. So I'm going to start with the left. I'm going to bring it over to the right. Okay. And I'm going to come down a notch. So if you see, I'm on this hole right here. I'm going to come across and I'm going to go into that little hole right down there. This is probably the hardest one to get into because it's in the most difficult spot. It's right down in there, so it'll probably take me a minute to feed it through. Okay, it's like a shoelace, you know. It's always good to use a set of needle nose. Saves your fingers. Make sure you don't have any crazy kinks and just pull it on through. Okay, so now we've gone across, through, and then we came straight underneath and came out here. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to mirror it. We're going to do it on the other side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this side, this right side here, we're going to bring it down over to the left. We're going to go through that same hole that this wire is coming out of. Okay, so now what you're going to do, start with the side you pulled through first. Okay, and just give it a little tug. Come in here on the left side. Give it a little tug, you'll see it cinch up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to use this is a key thing here. You're going to grab the wire kind of far up. Okay, see what I'm doing? Grabbing it far up, right? And then you're going to use the nose of the pliers as like an anchor point. And what you're going to do is you're going to pry up. See how I did that? And what that's doing is it's cinching those wires down. You can do the same thing here. Just pry up. Don't go too crazy with it because remember, this is just thin wire and plastic. You can pull right through this stuff if you're not careful. This is what we got. It's all stitched together. See how she fits, shall we? I think this piece, I need to anchor down the back because that needs to be tipped back some. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and seal this piece to this tube here. I'm going to use some rubber cement, some PVC glue. I'm going to do this on my tires so that way I don't make a mess. See how it fits with the hood on. Now I've got to put my hole in the firewall here. Just rotate that down. So you can see we got perfect access to our firewall right here, which is where we're going to be drilling our hole. Make sure that when you drill this hole, that you go through the correct spot. You want to make sure that it's going to come out correctly and go towards your feet. And you want to make sure there's nothing on the other side, like any speakers, anything. You don't want anything in it. Anything on the other side. Because Lord knows, you catch a hold of a wiring harness or something with this bit, it's going to ruin your day, brother. It's going to ruin your day, brother. So remember, I want to get this thing up pretty high. Now, the trick is, when you're doing this shit with plastic, hold on a second. I'm going to get it here. When you use this bit, you got to make sure that you don't, if you're using it on plastic, don't use it forward. Use it backwards. This is going to give you a lot cleaner cut. It'll take a little bit longer, but it'll clean the plastic up when you cut through it. So I already went ahead and I drilled my primary hole there. So we're going to go backwards. Could almost push it out. You got to be really careful doing this. And don't hit your hand when you go through either. But so now you can see how dangerous it is. You gotta be careful back here. You don't want to put a hole in anything, okay? But we're gonna be able to plumb our pipes into here, and that'll work perfect.
It's good.
All right, so now I got that plumbed up through there. Got this here, that's gonna attach to that. This thing is tucked up in here. You can't see it, but it's right there. So this is definitely gonna be something to where you're cruising down the road. You feel the heat start kicking up. I'm gonna plumb a little pipe onto here. It'll probably be about right here, and then you'll just reach under there and pull the cap off. And then it'll just flow right down here past the, right past your feet. That's what we're shooting for, right here. Right here is where it's the best. See that phone real quick. I didn't make a mess, did I? Oh, the hood's not even on? Man, it was doing really good without it. All right, guys, so went out and did my little test, and I must say, that shit works pretty damn good. So yeah, as I was saying, that thing works pretty damn good. You don't really notice it going low speeds. I hope you guys don't expect to feel like a big old rush of air coming in when you're doing 20 miles an hour. You'll feel a little bit by 20 miles an hour, but the main thing that this is concerned for is when you're doing like 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour. When you're at the dunes, this would freaking be amazing, because the fact that it's all plumbed in from the front, it just makes it a hell of a lot cooler air coming in there. Not only that, once it starts flowing really good, it's almost like you have a fan plumbed in there. I just did some little cruise up and down the street. Like 30 miles an hour was about as high as I went, but you could feel a nice steady flow of cool air going straight across your feet. Almost willing enough to wear flip-flops. So I don't know, we'll test a couple other things. Okay, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try and find a way to seal off some of this. Probably find a big grommet or something, slide over there. And then I don't want to seal this off, but I might try and come up with some other solutions to keep the heat away. And then this right here, this is our inlet port. That's what flows all our air. You can see it's really easy the way it's mounted up in there. Just a little bit of tubing, nothing too crazy. And so yeah, now all you got to do is come over here, grab your little rubber plug, and then your rubber plug just goes on there like that. And then whenever you want to use it, you just pull the plug off. But that'll, you know, if it's cold or anything like that, and you're a big wuss and you don't want any of that cool air across your feet, that's what the plug's for. So, right on, guys. Hey, I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Make sure you guys are hitting that little follow button, that like button, all that jazz. And yeah, see you guys out on the next one. Take care.